Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. So today I like to share with you something very critical if one want to get good educations or good training in Wing Chun. And so today's topic is a comprehensive Wing Chun educations. We often heard people talk about complete Wing Chun, orders Wing Chun, internal Wing Chun. Wing Chun is for street fight. However, if we look into the content of what people's presenting, we can find that the content of complete Wing Chun, orders Wing Chun, Wing Chun's for street fight, or internal Wing Chun is confusing. It really doesn't present much, and in fact it is confusing. It's like everybody can define whatever they like. So if we look into the traditional Chinese martial art roadmap, of the traditional Chinese martial art training, the training has to base on the proper conduct or moda, or the martial proper conduct. And then there were part of the physical body development, where you have bone, tendon, muscle development, breathing development, anti-impact development, because you're going to fight and you're going to crush with somebody. And then mental stillness development, because you have to handle your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, and your energy development, because you need energy to fight, And then, of course, you need your breathing development, because you need cardio. So this is the body conditioner part. And then you need the fighting skill part, where you need to handle momentum, like the 4 momentum zone, the techniques, and then the mechanics. And now they support each other here, the body conditioning and the impulse momentum handling. Now, in today's language, we can sum it as impulse momentum exchange handling, which is this part, the fighting part, and then the balanced body conditioning, where you have a training load and recovery, like in the sports science. And as today we know that imbalance training without recovery increase the risk of injury, illness, and poor performance. That's why the Chinese martial art, a comprehensive one, always have the breathing training, and mental stillness, energy development training. So it is not just simply you train hard and you train for years and you're keeping training and you will get it. It's not that. This thing is really clear. So in today's language, it is this. Now, with knowing this, we can, in today's language, we can sum it up. To have a comprehensive education, the following has to be covered. Wing Chun educations, there are 2 basic parts: the impulse momentum handling and the body conditioning. So if one have a comprehensive Wing Chun educations, there are 2 parts. It has to have the training of the impulse momentum handling and the body conditioning. And within this impulse momentum handling, there are classroom learning, where people learn some techniques, doing some sets and some application learning, and supervised field experience. You need to have this classroom learning and supervised field experience, where supervised field experience is sparring. So we cannot get away from that. You need to learn the techniques, the applications, and you need to learn to have the experience of the supervised field experience, or have the sparring. Otherwise, one will not be able to handle the impulse momentum. And one thing is, it is a fact, the reality is Chi Sao is a part of classroom learning. Chisao cannot replace sparring. Forget about it. Sparring is an unbalanced, unstable momentum exchange, supervised field experience. Chisao is not. Chisao is standing there, and it is this technique, that techniques against your classmate or your teacher. Have to do this, do that. It is not a supervised field experience where you suddenly face BJJ guy, suddenly you face Thai boxer, where the attack can come from any angles and it can be unbalanced, unstable type of momentum or impulse momentum. Okay, so this has to be really clear. Okay, stop thinking that Chisao can replace sparring. You cannot. You can train a zillion years of Chisao and it cannot replace 100 hours of sparring. Okay, or the KO non-guarded type of sparring. It's just their life. And within body conditioning, there are the training load and recovery. One need to know how to condition one's body to have the strength training and the recovery training. One need that. Okay. So one need a qualified field experienced instructor. Okay. Not everybody can be instructor. One need to be able to handle this. Impulse momentum handling and body conditioning. Okay. And without this, one really do not have an education, a comprehensive education, and one do not have a field experience. Well, do you want to get operate or surgery by a new graduate medical doctor where never have any supervised field experience at all? Well, we don't. So martial art is the same. Okay. Now, in terms of basic impulse momentum exchange handling, okay, as in my book Wing Chun Matrix, you know that there are 4 types of fighting or momentum zone. You need to handle this. Okay. Otherwise, it is trouble, because one don't even see what will come at us. And then one need to know how to realize the impulse momentum. Okay. And also one need to know how to handle one's impulse momentum, namely with the feet bows and this calf here, the thigh and the hip here, the lower back, and then the shoulder blade area. If one do not know how to handle, align those 4 momentum handles or 4 biomechanics handle, forget about it. Okay. One simply cannot say, I practice internal Wing Chun. Now, as often you heard people, it's like Tai Chi. I have to handle my center of mass. Okay, you move your center of mass. Well, then you tell me, how are you going to move your center of mass? Which part of your body you're going to use to handle your center of mass? And then you say, one with the Fa Jing, using my Dan Tian. Again, physically, what are you going to use to handle, to do this Fa Jing? Well, the truth is, in other arts, I don't know. In Wing Chun or Shaolin related arts, Shaolin Kung Fu, Shaolin based short strike art, you need to have these 4 momentum handles trained, developed, so that in dynamics, under the unbalanced, unstable condition, one can handle the momentum or impulse momentum with those 4 handles. It's just it's just like the car's 4-wheel drive and its transmissions. Okay. Without this, it's hopeless. Okay, it's not. Oh, I use my mind power. I use my chi. I use my my body weight. I use my this dantian. Forget about it. If physically one's have no idea how to develop this four momentum handle, then one have no idea how to move one's body. Okay, if one don't even know this, okay, what can one do? One is just doing random stuff or incomplete stuff. Okay, so it's hopeless. Now, as the body conditioning, we know that balanced body conditioning needs to know the training loads and recovery. And we know imbalanced training increases risk of injury, illness, and poor performance. And we also know there never is one size fit all. Well, if you're a strong guy, you are a 20-year-old, 25-year-old, you can go play MMA, play tough, whatever you want. You can disregard everything like this. However, if you look at the real professional, they know the training load and recovery. They know their age, they know their body conditions. Well, there's no difference with the Wing Chun training or traditional Chinese martial art training as I just showed you here. Okay, it is a comprehensive training which is tailored to fit the individual. It's not, hey, just go stand there doing your Shu Lim Tao set for 1 hour. Well, can you do that? Do you know about the training load and recovery of the design of your Shu Lim Tao sets? Do you know your cardio conditioning? Or you just say, everybody do it the same, and you just do it and you get it. Some days you get this mysterious chi power, mind power, and all this. What have you ever seen? Why don't you just go back start from now, this instance, backtrack for 100 years and see who actually developed the chi power and those kind of stuff, practice Shu Lim Tao. Or it is just a partial demo here and claims that. Okay. So in order to know the body balance, body conditioning, and so forth, one need the 613.3, as I put in this book. Okay. One need to know the physical, mind, breathing, energy, force, and momentum, and the states. If not, one doesn't know what to handle. And one need to know the intentional regulating and natural resonance states. Otherwise, one will not know what is the recovery. You just forget about it. Okay, we just don't have the education to do the job. Okay, and if you look at the ancient Chinese internal training, which is based in, okay, it has to base in loose in physical, quiet in mind, and natural in breathing. As soon as you look into the ancient Chinese internal development training, it has to base in loose in physical, quiet in mind, and natural in breathing. This is the common denominator. If one not be able to list this out or present this clearly, forget about it. One doesn't have it. Okay? And having this loose in physical, quiet in mind, and natural in breathing is actually means it is a recovery-based or parasympathetic predominance training, which is good for health and recovery. Okay? So if we look at the quinquit of 1850 Shu Lim Tao quit of Wing Chun, it fit this thing, focus, intention, union with awareness, and spiral twisting naturally follow the breathing and the direction of the chi. It fit into this. Okay, it is a real deal, ancient Chinese internal training. And if you look into today's sports science, we can find that because of one have this loose in physical, quiet in mind, and natural in breathing, one be able to handle the heart rate variability, be able to get into this focus, relaxed type of heart rate variability. See, this is heart rate, and you see how it varies in the focus and relaxed state, and in the stress state, how the thing jump. Well, if one really train in loose in physical, quiet in mind, and natural in breathing, one can handle this. One can transfer from here to here. So the term people like to use, hey, can your thing work under pressure? Well, if one have that training, one be able to handle it. Okay? And as sports science we know today, which you can verify by heart rate variability. Okay? So one be able to actually make one's training parasympathetic predominance, or when one needs to get into the focused, relaxed state, one can get the parasympathetic nervous system active or predominance. Okay, and you can see that parasympathetic nervous systems controls your body's response, rest and response, and recovery. Okay, and parasympathetic activations conserve energy, constrict pupil, and so forth, slow heartbeat. Okay, so if one want to go under pressure, one need this type of training. So again, the ancient Chinese, they have a complete system. Okay, and so today what I like to share with you is this is the comprehensive Wing Chun educations. This thing really nobody know what is what, because you can backtrack from today back for 100 years. You can see everybody define their own stuff. Okay, do they follow the ancient Chinese? Do they follow the today's sports science? The answer is no. It is just partial stuff, and so it is a trouble. It is a disaster if one going this way. Okay. So today I share with you a comprehensive Wing Chun education based on the Chinese ancient Chinese teaching, and based on today's sports science. It's not Hendrix say this, Hendrix say that. Okay, got nothing to do with what lineage or what style. It is what it is. It is science. Okay, and you can expect what you get by just knowing this what it needs to have in the comprehensive Wing Chun educations. So this is to share with you today. Okay. It is year 2020. It better be going a scientific way. Otherwise, it is a disaster. But everybody is free to do whatever they want. They can take Wing Chun as a religion, as a cult, or whatever. Okay, but the science of the comprehensive Wing Chun education is there if one want to examine and following it. So this is to share with you today.